So Nick, we are here in one of Wickham's trucks, and it's a Euro 5 Cummins powered. So it has the technology of EGR and also SCR, so it's got the AdBlue. So you'll probably find, with the new technology, the increase in temperature as we go up the range, so the fans will come on, so you'll feel that. So you get a bit of a feel for it. We'll stop up before near the helipad. We'll actually do a takeoff. We'll stop there, takeoff to show what we're doing. We'll engage the diff lock as we're going up over the saddle there. We'll engage the diff lock, and we'll just make our way up.
Yeah. Okay. And so, Bill, you said you're going to engage your power divider or your quad locks.
Yeah. So we're going to engage our diff lock. So once we get up over the saddle there, while we're on the move, we'll actually engage our power divider, which is our diff lock, so it locks the two differentials together. So one axle is driving on the front, one axle is driving on the back. So it's basically two-wheel drive.
Yep.
So it's not cross locks, it's just the power divider.
Yep.
So people call it power divider, other people call it diff lock. We're going to call it diff lock for this exercise.
Okay. So Cunningham's Gap has some very steep grades, doesn't it? In fact, it's actually steeper than the old Toowoomba second range crossing.
It's actually steeper than Toowoomba range, yeah. So when we go near the top there, you'll find that we'll actually go down a gear before we actually hit that last crest.
Yep.
So it's actually steeper. So it does get up around that 14%, that very last peak where a lot of transport guys have a bit of trouble there.
Yep.
But the key thing is to be prepared before you get there. So change down gears before you get there. Having the diff locks
or your diff locks.
And keeping your high RPM, so using the horsepower rather than the lug, so you're not changing gears halfway up that last pinch.
So when we talk about diff locks, we're talking a power divider. Is it rather than locking the two wheels, it'd be a power divide?
Yeah, so
rear axle.
Exactly. So it locks the two centres up. So you're not cross locking. You're not doing the air lockers as such. You're just doing the power divider. So so locking the two diff centres up so they work together.
And that's a really good point. So TMR is aware of the heavy vehicles, the time it will take to climb up the hill. We know that it's some heavy vehicles will have to crawl up the hill. That's a slow process. So we'll be allowing enough time for that cycling effect for the truck to crawl up the hill safely and reach the top. So we don't need people to rush. We don't need them to force their way up gears. They can pick a low gear and just safely climb up the hill, and there will be enough time for them to get to the top before either the traffic signals or the traffic controller releases traffic on the top of the mountain. And the other thing, Bill, you mentioned was that the importance of, we know that the Gap has quite steep grades, and in particular, Cunningham's Gap and the Gap crossing has increasing gradients at the very top. Yeah. So one of the opportunities that can be taken by drivers at that stop slow point is to engage their power dividers if they have them fitted, and that will assist them, especially at the top of the grade, to get over the top of the hill. Okay, so we've now commenced our hill climb. We've got a nice straight section of road, quite flat actually, before we commence the last roughly 3.5 kilometres of hill climb up to the Alan Cunningham monument.
So just at the top here though, I'm actually going to, I didn't engage the power divider back there, but down here, I'm going to back off the accelerator and actually engage the power divider here.
Okay.
So this is the important part what most guys should be trying to do to eliminate that slip up the top, especially in wet weather. So I'm going to engage the power divider. So I'm going to take the foot off the accelerator, power divider is now on, ease back on the accelerator, and now I have two-wheel drive all the way at the top.
Right, so we're in a flat section, actually a tiny little bit of a downhill there. Off the accelerator and power dividers are on.
That's it.
And the reason we put those power dividers on is to help with that increasing grade coming up to the Cunningham's Gap.
Exactly. And even if it's raining, you should engage your diff locks in bad weather. Like if it's raining down here, and especially after it's been dry for so long, you get a bit of diesel spill and so forth. So you should always engage your power divider and your diff locks to get up here anyway.
So Bill, we've just reached the top of the Cunningham's Gap. some of the steepest gradients that we've mentioned. There's a pinch point there. At the top, I can hear the truck's thermo fan has now come on. So obviously we've built up a fair bit of heat coming up the hill.
I'm just going to take off the power divider now. So we just turn the power divider off, take the foot of the accelerator, power divider's off, and reapply the accelerator, and now we're good to go. So we'll start climbing up to the gears, and we're letting the kinetic weight of the vehicle push it down. So we're not generating any heat now. So the vehicle's in, oh, thank God, I'm at the top of the hill now. I'm going to start cooling down. So the temperature will start coming down. So cooling's already starting to come down. It's around 100 there at the moment. Gearbox is absolutely quite fine. But yeah, the other side of the hill, just let the weight push it down.
Excellent. And so, I mean, if the truck's able to, that's a great way to cool the engine in. You've got a downslope now. You just roll down the hill. There's also opportunities to pull up. Actually, Fisher Park. There's the mobile at the western side, and then shortly after that, there's also a formal truck stopping bay where vehicles could stop if they needed to check their load or to check engine heat.
Now, if at some point, some people, especially with Euro 6 technology, some people might see an orange light come on their dash on the way up a mountain. Well, you probably need to stop at the top of the mountain before you start coming down, because if you have blown a water hose or a heater hose and done something there underneath the bonnet, you might not make it down the bottom here, and then cause another problem down here. So, if you do have a check engine light coming up the hill, pull up to the top. If once you get over the top there, you've got no lights on, there, as they come down, they'll cool down. That's right.